Hello. How's everyone doing? I'm just going to put something in the chat real fast while the alert goes out for everyone. Hi. Just putting something in I say the chat because I'm so used to Zoom. Let's see. How do I pin? Oh, boom. There it is. Let's bring Laura in. Hi. Is it bringing you in or do I not know what I'm doing? Hi, hi, hi. Hi.
Hey, can you hear me all right?
I can hear you.
Great.
How are you?
You know what? I'm having had one of those mornings.
No, I feel you. I totally feel you. Trust me. Your background, I think I feel like I say something every time we either see each other or, which hasn't been a lot lately, but whenever we saw each other and then also when we did a live, I'm like, your background is so cute.
Oh, thank you. Yes,
Don't mind my little background. We're trying to get this home office together because I refuse to go back out into the world right now.
I know. I'm sitting in my living room because I don't have a home office. My home office was taken over by the baby who's now our toddler. And this wallpaper was part of like my nesting phase in the last like 2 months before he came. I didn't put wallpaper in his room. I put it in where I was going to be, in the living room.
It's cute though. It goes with your brand, actually.
Yeah.
I'm super excited to have you here, though. Hi, everyone. Um, so I'm so excited about this series. So this week we're doing a lot of things. I'm calling it the Take the Pledge campaign situation. We are so close to opening Alabama's first Black-owned lactation clinic. I've been
Amazing.
super excited about it. It's taken over a year to develop and come together, programming, connecting with community members, just all the things. And so I'm super excited about it. I know you were there from the beginning, and I've had you on Unfiltered Postpartum when it was an IG series. It's a podcast now, which I'm excited about as well. So, Laura, can you tell everyone about you specifically, and then we'll get into the goodness of the work that you're doing?
Okay, thank you. Okay, my name's Laura. I am the founder and CEO of an app called Mothership Rising. And Mothership Rising is a very simple idea. It's a meal train for emotional support. So just like you would sign up to take food to people, you're signing up to do an emotional check-in. And what is an emotional check-in? It's listening. It's holding space. It's being present, even by phone, by text, and then sometimes we take that emotional check-in in emotional support into practical support. But really, the core product and the core offering where I saw a lack was that just being there and asking people, "How are you today?" and showing up continuously, because we all know those people in our lives, and you might be one, right? The first time we ask, "How are you?" "I'm fine." The second time we ask, "How are you doing?" Yeah, you're doing all right." Third time, fourth time is really sometimes where we have to take all of that effort and intention with our friends, before they sometimes feel comfortable sharing, like, "Today was a really hard day," or "This is not what I thought it was going to be like," and or just, "I'm having a really tough moment right now." And so the intention behind the app is to create those conversations between a new parent and their trusted community.
It's an exciting app, y'all. So the thing about this app, right? Okay, so first of all, we came to because I don't know how we came into each other's lives, but we came into each other's lives probably because of the internet and pandemic life, right? But I was so intrigued by this app, and I was like, I totally want to try to incorporate it into the clinic once the physical location is open. And so I found it to be a great tool. So I got all set up. She set me up. She gave me a, what do you call it? Like I don't want to say a trial.
But
Let me explore it a bit on my own, like, so what my circle looks like and all of those types of things. And it's a really great tool. You know, the postpartum clinic is specifically about providing that care, that support that's just not given
mhm.
for whatever reason when by the time you leave the hospital, birth center, or home. So I'm really excited about this app. So I wonder if I can. I'm not going to play with it because I did take just some minor screenshots
Oh,
of a
thanks.
specific couple things, and I wanted to show it, but I don't want to try it, and then I hit this face thing, and then I have like a duck on my face or something that Instagram does when they try to give you faces. But you all have to go and download this app. It's really amazing. The circles there are really amazing. You can assign things to folks. The way that we are going to try to use it here at the clinic is, of course, who's your support system? There's a bunch of different questions that we ask from our clients, but it'll be who's your support system? Let's go ahead and get you set up on this app. And so whomever their immediate support system is, plus someone within our clinic that can be
Love
part
that.
of that support system, is going to be there to help them out along the way. So meals, emotional support, checking in, articles. I see you have articles or like references on the app now, right?
Yes, we have something we're calling the Mothership Library, and it's like a Pinterest for the early days of parenting. But you know, we have some of the how-tos, but really focus on finding articles that talk about the experience of parenting, right? That's focusing on what you're going through, what you might be feeling emotionally, what you might be feeling spiritually, and what you might be feeling physically. Um, because there are, you know, and how to connect people with experts like yourself, right? We really see ourselves as a bridge, and I love that you're using that bridge and creating this space for parents to come in and really be supported for a year. Because I tell you what, like, my son is a little over 2 months, and yeah, there was just like this 10 minutes today. All it takes sometimes with, I think, with a parent is like 10 minutes, and then you're like, "Ooh, I'm out for the rest of the day." My you know, my tank, my emotional tank just gets depleted, and you need people and things in your life that help you fill out that tank, because my son's tank isn't depleted. He's going to keep going, right? And I want to show up for him. And so you're showing up for the parents who are going to be showing up for their kids. And I think that's just what an amazing way to build community and change what family and communities really look like.
So can you let the folks know how long has this been app? Well, has the app been in development, or how long did it take you to like develop the app to where it is now? Because I know you've added some things, which has been amazing. I know you
Mhm.
revealed that not too long ago. But how long has this app been in development?
So we started designing it and put it in development in March of 2020, and it really is a pandemic baby. Um, and mostly because I was like, I was too afraid to do it before the pandemic, and then kind of right, I think a lot of us experienced when the pandemic happened. Oh well, you know, I have nothing to lose, and also I felt really called because parents were more isolated than ever. So we started the design process in March of 2020, started building it around May or June, and we did our soft launch in October. And I would say of 2020. So we're just coming up to our 1 year anniversary of our soft launch, and we've learned so much this year. We just finished a big research project where we had a bunch of doulas use the app and get feedback on it about what they liked and what they didn't like. So we're constantly in the like refining process of how do we just make it the best it can be to serve the community who wants to use this app. So we're excited for what's coming next. We're doing some, you know, we're just continuing to refine and make it better, hopefully.
So in terms of support, postpartum support, because this is like just it's what it is. It's this huge support network that folks are able to create and tailor to themselves. But when it comes to support, why do you feel like it's so difficult for folks to find support in the postpartum period? From
I
your
think it
personal experience too, you can bring that in.
Sure, sure. I mean, I think there's just this idea that parenting, welcoming a new child into your life, however, whether it's your first child or second child, whether it's, through birth or adoption or, a bonus or step parent, there's this idea that these transitions just should be like this, right? And we trickle that down to our children. We think that the baby should come out and be sleeping overnight, right? There's just not this space to realize things have changed. There's a new person here with their own unique needs. And then the parent as a person. I mean, it's been shown now that when you are becoming a parent, something actually physically changes in your brain, new neural pathways, right? So of course, it's going to take time to kind of try on this new lifestyle, this new, you have a job, right? But there's so much pressure for it to be fast, to pretend like it didn't happen, right? If you are working outside of the house, you're supposed to go back to work right away and not have any be impacted, right? If you your friends might want you to go out and meet them out for drinks and not be impacted, right? Your partner might want your sex life to still be the same and not be impacted. So I just really felt like, oh my God, nobody would told me, like, there's just all these images that life goes on the same, except for now you're taking care of a new person. And that was not true for me at all. For me, I was like a caterpillar who had gone into the larva and was still in the larva. I mean, I'm still in the larva right now. And, and I was like, I need some support while I'm in the larva because the larva is sticky and messy.
So so I'm gonna always bring it back full circle, right? So the postpartum clinic, I created the postpartum clinic to provide care in a better type of way, shape, or form, but also because I know this is like a weird way to think about it, but I wanted the postpartum journey to be sustainable for people. And
Mm-hmm.
sustainable meaning that they didn't feel 100% depleted when it came to their emotional, physical, mental health and wellness and well-being, including that of their infant. And we tack on the lactation journey. Like, it's a lot that's there. And I wanted to create a space where they could get the support and care far beyond the 6-week checkup, right? And get this care that was also personalized to them as an individual, and what that support would look like. So when we came into contact with each other, right, I was like, this is the perfect thing that I could align with the clinic because, again, I do prioritize things being accessible, and I
Mm-hmm.
prioritize things that can help sustain the journey. There
Mm.
are astronomical numbers when it comes to folks who are battling postpartum depression, anxiety, and psychosis. And especially if we're talking about the community that I prioritize, which is the Black, Indigenous, people of color community. And so I was just kind of like, something needs to give because sometimes, I'm going to be honest with you, folks may not necessarily show up to the one of the 12 appointments over the course of a year. And it's usually more than that because we're tacking on lactation, postpartum, perinatal mental health specialists. We're tacking on all those things that can happen within the 12-month period and that are available to them if they become a member. But I was like, sometimes they won't show up. So, like, what's another avenue that I can make sure that I am constantly making them feel like they have the support, and then also how to get the family and the people that's closest to them that may sometimes have biased opinions. Like, I'm sure someone in my family would see me as she got it. She doesn't need any help, whatever the case may be. And so when we got in contact with each other, and I was able to hear about this after we were able to chat with each other. I think it was the week of my birthday.
Yeah.
Um, um, I was super excited about it, and I've been super excited to incorporate it because it's just another extension of the importance of support and personalized care and individualized care within the postpartum period. So I'm excited.
I'm so excited for you guys to open like your physical doors. What you guys have created is incredible. And I'm really grateful that you're kind of bringing us along for the ride. Um, because yes, these parents, they do need people, right, their core trusted community to be to be their mirrors, to hold space for them. Your trusted community knows you, and knows your entire journey. And sometimes you might feel more comfortable revealing something to them than you would to a stranger. Sometimes you'd feel more comfortable, revealing to somebody you're not as close to. So I love that you're going to have like the full experience, and you have the combination of the community care and the professional support. Because of course, your friend may not know something about like lactation, or what they know might have just like been unique to them. So we really need to get parents to get that practical support. But a lot of times from professionals, parents, they hesitate for the practical support too, because they're like, who's going to watch the baby while I go? If I have, or siblings, or who's going to drive with me if I'm nervous driving? My gosh, I remember the first time driving with my baby in the car by myself. Like these are milestones for new parents, and we minimize them. And I think having your friends and trusted community around you to celebrate them, to acknowledge you when you do these, kind of hit those milestones, and to hold space for when the milestone's really hard, for when the day's really hard, and to encourage you to maybe, be that reflection of like, yeah, maybe a professional is going to be a great choice for this avenue. I know a lactation consultant was really invaluable for us, because my son had a tongue tie. And so our lactation consultant was the one who diagnosed the tongue tie. And it totally changed our breastfeeding journey, our body feeding journey.
When it comes to the postpartum period, right? What's a piece of advice that you would give to to maybe not even new parents, just because each journey is just different.
Mm-hmm.
But what's a piece of advice that you would give to someone navigating the postpartum journey?
Oh, I would, the advice I would share is to spend just a few moments each day checking in with your body, turning inward. And it might be when you're like on the toilet, that might be all you have, right? Like it might be when the baby is sleeping on top of you. So it might not look like, like this perfect Zen moment, but just a few breaths where you turn inward and say, okay, how is my body feeling today? What emotions am I feeling? What sensations am I feeling? And to begin to create space for your own experience while there's so much going on.
How do you feel about I have my own opinions about this, but how do you feel about the whole, oh, we'll see you in 6 weeks, and then it's kind of.
I mean, I remember I went at 6 weeks, and my doctor was like, you're great. So I started swinging a kettlebell, because that's the exercise I did before I was pregnant. And I was like so excited. And then I injured myself, and it's taken me over 2 years to recover from that injury. And I went back like in my injury, like at week 8. And my doctor, she said to me, oh yeah, pain is just normal. It's just going to take a while. And so ever since then, I've really been on this mission to say, like, yes, we do feel pain, but you don't have to live with it. And there are people out there who can support you. And I just think about how irresponsible it was for her at 6 weeks just to say, yeah, sure, go work out. I mean, no, like, I mean, not even like a link, or I don't know. It's so easy in today's world to be like, here's a link about postpartum fitness, or here's a brochure, or, maybe you don't want to lift weights right away, right? I don't, it's shocking to me how little information they give you when you go back at 6 weeks. I mean, it's shocking.
I think you use the word that I use, and it's a very gentle way of using the word, which is irresponsible.
Hmm.
I am so flabbergasted a lot of times when I realize that a lot of providers, don't see you until 6 weeks, and then even when they do see you, it's in and out.
Yeah.
There's so much happening from the moment, I'm talking about the moment you give birth, And then leading up a year, 2 years into postpartum, there's so many things happening with your body. There's so many questions that a lot of people have. I get questions about birth control. I get questions about sex. I get questions about lactation, about nipples. I get questions about vitamins, nutrition, depression. Should I feel this way? Oh my gosh, my cycle has changed. Is that normal? My hair is falling out. I'm getting pimples. I feel like I'm going through puberty. Like, there's so many things that folks go through. And it really blows my mind, just like you said, how irresponsible providers can be when it comes to the birthing person in the postpartum period. And you see them you sit in the waiting room for close to an hour to be
Yeah.
seen for 15 minutes. And most of that time they're in the computer writing stuff down, or they're just, oh, okay, yeah, all right. Or they're going into a pelvic exam or whatever the case may be, but it's very short. It's very impersonal. And a lot of times you have a lot of concerns, you have a lot of questions. And
Yeah.
so then you lean on your pediatrician who knows absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
But they seem to have more information because now we're mainly talking about my new kid. So I do think it's very, very irresponsible. I'm sorry that you hurt yourself.
Thank you. Well, I mean, and now I'm remembering, right? Some things that I like, my skin totally, like I had skin breakout all over. And then I had this inflammation, and it made my hands and feet burn for like months, right? And these are all like, everybody's bodies react differently. Everybody has, one or two probably like weird things. And you just kind of have to wait it out. But at the same time, you want compassion. You want somebody to help you thrive, right? And my experience of the medical care is they make sure you're alive. Great. And I needed that. I wanted to be alive, right? I wanted my baby to but that's kind of where the job stopped. Any type of understanding about what my experience was. And even I would have to say, I don't remember them screening me for postpartum, like any type of
Oh, absolutely
like
not.
mood disorder. Like, and now when I go back, they give me like that little checklist. But the problem is, I don't want to swear in here, but you can lie, right? You can lie, and who's going to go in there and say like, yeah, I'm thinking about X, Y, and Z, right? You
That's part
real
of it that I talk about all the time. It's part of a lot of my like trainings for birth workers and other like postpartum people, nurses, midwives, whomever. I try to make them understand something that you said is your specific experience seems to not matter. All they were worried about is your ability to have access to basic ass care, right? So
Yes.
we're going to call that equality. And so a lot of times I think about that, and I try to teach folks about that when they're creating their classes or when they're creating their services or whatever, because I deeply embedded that into the postpartum clinic. I want it to be accessible. So in a sense, that's equality, but I really, really, really wanted the postpartum clinic to be equitable, right? So
Mm-hmm.
individualized, personalized to the person and their experience. Whatever I need to do to specifically help you in your experience right now with whatever you're dealing with in the postpartum period to help you thrive. That's good healthcare. That's good wellness care. That's good
Mm-hmm.
everything. That's helping a person actually sustain the journey. That's preventative care from postpartum depression and anxiety and discomforts and whatever else could possibly come up because of the lack of equity that exists within these providers and their offices and these clinics and whatever the hell else that exists. So I'm glad that you said that. That really makes me happy to hear that. Like, not your experience, but you
I
know
know.
what I'm saying. That was something that you know that you needed, and it feels good sometimes to name it. And a lot of people don't know how to name it. So I'm here to let everyone know. Laura said it. I'm saying it. You're looking for not equality. You're looking for equity. Okay,
Mm.
in the way that these folks are treating you, in the
Mm-hmm.
way that these folks are looking after you, supporting you, caring for you. Sure, everyone goes to the hospital at 6 weeks. Everyone goes to the provider at 6 weeks. But what matters is your ability to have a conversation with them seeing where you are, them realizing your experiences, and then them able to give you that type of care and support for your specific situation.
Mm. I love that. I love this definition of equity that you are working with because it's so true. And that equity is that this idea that what you need for you is important. And I think that's why we're so aligned, because that's exactly right with the circles, the support circles and Mothership Rising and the app, right? The parent is the person who gets to say what they need and say what they don't need, and really making it individualized and customized for this unique moment in time, and then also able to change, because like, you know, one week you might think like, oh, I don't really want people to bring by food or stop by, and then the next week you're like, yeah, this would be great. So that's the other thing is, in terms, I guess, of advice that I kind of come back to is, you can change your mind. You can change your mind, right? You can want something in the morning, and in the afternoon you can say like, yeah, that's just not for me anymore. Because we don't know until we're experiencing it, and we don't know with our providers until we experience it sometimes if they're the right provider for you, right? And so I think that's the other great thing about what you're creating, because you're such a valuable resource to connect people with so many different resources in your community, because one lactation consultant might not be the lactation consultant for you, right? One pelvic floor therapist might not be the pelvic floor therapist for you, right? Or there might be multiple things that that person, that, you know, postpartum person needs to for support in their specific journey.
That's why we're using your app, right? Because of what you just said, which is, and this will segue into, but which is, I have it on my main website as a student midwife. But what I say on there is, don't be so medicalized to where you treat people how you want to be treated. You have to treat people how they want to be treated, which means you have to ask. So this app is an extension of that, along with what, you know, my clinic stands for and what my clinic is doing. For me to know, and things do change, like you said, and it's not through birth, the process of being a doula, they change their mind, and they will change their mind 10 different times about certain things within that within the pregnancy period, before they even get to the laboring portion. And so that's the same with postpartum. Like, I don't want to assume, and I don't want the people around you to assume what it is that you need and how it is that we need to show up for you. So let's take this tool that someone created, plus the tool of this good old brain of mine, and let's put it together, and we all be part of the circle. And they can ask you what it is specifically that you want for meals, what specifically that you need. You need people to show up. Do you not want people to show up? Do you need help with laundry? Should someone pick up this? Does someone need to go pick up the other kid from childcare? Like, those things are important, and it takes out the middleman of having to think a lot about certain things, worry a lot about certain things. It's just a really good app, and I'm super excited to be able to use it. I'm super excited that we are able to collaborate in that way, and I hope that it continues on for the clinic to be like a decade old, and then it'll continue on. But for everyone that's just joining, you'll be able to watch the replay. Thank you so much, Laura, for joining us. Could you introduce yourself again and let the folks know who you are, and about Mothership Rising?
Absolutely. I'm Laura. I'm the CEO and founder of an app called Mothership Rising. I say we're like a meal train for emotional support. So it's where a new parent and can host or have somebody like the postpartum clinic host a circle for them, and a place where their trusted community can come on and sign up for days to do emotional support check-ins. There's also places for the parent to have an emotion or support wish list to ask for things that they need, and also set boundaries. And I'm just really excited about the partnership that you guys are going to be using the app. And how close are you guys to your $15,000? Let's talk about that, because that's exciting.
I think we are about 8,000 away, which is not a lot. Like, even over the last couple of weeks, it's like, I was like, okay, we're getting there. So we're about $8,000 away, which is super duper great. I'm sure we'll be able to hit it by the time that I want to fully open. I had the dumb idea to open in the middle of holiday, but it's okay. To open end of December, which I know we're going to be able to hit, and I'm super excited about it. So if you can, and if you please, if you're watching the recording and you're here live, please remember that you can take the Postpartum Care Pledge by going to the link in our bio, which is the GoFundMe link, and donating anything that you can. You can also donate it directly to the Postpartum Clinic, to our Venmo at the Postpartum Clinic. And if all else fails and you have no fiscal type of support to give, please continue to share, like, comment, and talk about the Postpartum Clinic, Alabama's soon to be first Black-owned lactation clinic. Thank you so much, Laura, for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having me on to like share about the app and to celebrate all that you're creating, and only a few more $1,000 to go. So yes, if you're
Yeah,
listening
it's
to this,
exciting.
click the link and donate.
Thank you. I'll talk to you soon, okay? Bye, y'all.